Speaking as a proud member of a union that is affiliated with the AFL-CIO, I've got to tell you, I am very, very proud of Eddie Vale. Eddie Vale, after an anonymous White House spokesman came out and said, well, the organized labor just flushed $10 million down the toilet, supporting Bill Halter against Blanche Lincoln down there in Arkansas. You know, could have wasted money, could have been used more strategically, blah-de-blah-de-blah, all this Bill Clinton triangulation crap. Eddie Vale stands up and says, well, Eddie Vale, what did you say?
Well, I said that, thanks first of all, Thom, for having me on. I said that the AFL-CIO exists to fight for working families. I'm proud to do that. I'm proud to fight for them, and I don't need to hide behind anonymous quotes to do that.
God bless you. You also said that we are not an arm of the White House or the DNC or a political party, if that quote is correct.
Correct. And I think that's really what this Arkansas election is all about, and that's the message that folks in D.C. need to take out of this. We don't support candidates because either political party tells us to. Republicans, Democrats, White House, DNC, RNC. We exist only to support candidates that are going to fight for working families. So if you're going to create jobs, if you're going to end unfair trade deals, if you're going to stand up to Wall Street and big corporations, then we're going to support you. It doesn't matter what folks in Washington say or what letters after your name. We're dead serious now about only supporting candidates that are going to stand on the side of working families.
Amen. And here's my question, Eddie Vale. You're a what's your title?
I'm a spokesman for the AFL-CIO.
Spokesman, okay, for the AFL-CIO. So you are officially speaking on behalf of the union.
Correct.
I'm curious if you think that President Obama might. How much damage has he done to his own 2012 prospects by trashing organized labor like this? I know the conventional wisdom in D.C. is that a month is an eternity in politics, a week is a long time, and that a year is you can forget about it, you can do anything, and a year from now people will be talking about something else. And we're talking a year and a half now, or 2 years away, the 2012 elections, the presidential elections. But, labor has a long memory, or at least that's been my experience growing up in a union household. And three of my brothers, all three of my brothers are or have been union members, two of them shop stewards. I think he's, well, let me ask you what you think.
Sure. Well, I think everybody in D.C., whether it's Obama, whether it's senators, whether it's Congress, cannot take the votes of working families for granted. And whether it's 2012 or whether even sooner, we got 2010 elections coming up real soon, that you can't just assume that working families are going to go out and vote for Democrats or even that they're going to vote at all. And, these comments were offensive. Obviously, there's no question of that. But I think the bigger thing they need to worry about is the issues that are behind these comments. Because, calling us names or anonymous, that's one thing, we're big guys here, we can get over it. But the reason that Arkansas happened is because working families don't have jobs. Yeah. It's as simple as that. Yeah. And if they're going to expect these people to work and to vote for them, they need to get them back to work. And,
well, and basically Blanche Lincoln's message was the corporations will save you, organized labor won't.
Exactly. And, as soon as you saw, it was in the Huffington Post yesterday, all those corporate groups that supported Blanche are already pulling away their money for the general election because they were just trying to take out a candidate that would stand up for workers and get a Republican on the ballot.
Right, and Bill Halter probably would have had, well, we know, he would, you look at the polls, he would have had a better chance than Blanche Lincoln of defeating a Republican in the fall, although the Republican, in all probability, is going to win no matter what. But, anything is possible. Progressives have been pulling off some really surprising victories. The Sparks win in the Alabama gubernatorial race, for example. And so how do we move this thing forward? Eddie Vale, spokesman for the AFL-CIO. One of the senses that I had was that it was organized labor in part that pushed Barack Obama over the top in the last election. In the 2008 election, is there any evidence that that's actually the case?
Oh, absolutely. And, not just Obama, but also, big in 2006 and 2008, also, big majorities in the House and Senate. If you look across the board, when you don't look at just overall labor percentages in the country, but in terms of actually who comes out and votes on Election Day, union members usually make up 20 to 24% of the electorate. They're the biggest bloc.
Of the total electorate or the Democratic electorate?
Of the total electorate.
Wow.
When you're talking about.
That's amazing when you consider that in the private sector, union members are only 7-8% of the total workforce.
Exactly, but we turn out our members to vote.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to be afraid of, because if you're a Joe or Jane union member and you don't have a job and you don't see Democrats in Congress for delivering for you, you think they're going to come down to the union hall at the phone bank a couple weeks before the election? Are they going to go out and knock on doors? So it's not just a danger of Democrats losing the vote themselves that you cast in the ballot booth, but it's about losing the boots on the ground of the union members, because they're only going to go out and support people if they think that those candidates are fighting for them.
Eddie, I'm sorry.
And, if they don't see these jobs and more focus on jobs and less focus on deficit, it's going to be a lot harder to get people to work and turn out for 2010.
Yeah, we have just a half a minute left. Eddie Vale, AFL-CIO. A friend of mine who is also a talk show host, kind of off the air, suggested to me that, maybe Obama would like the Republicans to take the House or Senate in this fall, because he campaigns really well against Republicans, and having Democrats, particularly in the House where they're fairly progressive, has been really problematic for him. I think that would be suicide. I think he would be facing Bill Clinton-style investigations constantly. What do you think of that conspiracy theory?
Well, I agree with your conclusion completely, that would be crazy talk and going back to the Republican investigation, subpoena
But is this
power.
the kind of thing that the DLC might actually be thinking would be a good thing?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I don't know. I can't speak for the Obama administration or anybody, obviously. Is there some people that could make that case? Possibly. But I just think it's absolutely idiotic, and that we need to keep control of the House and a strong progressive control of the House.
Yeah, absolutely. And get a progressive control of the Senate.
Absolutely.
God willing. Eddie Vale, AFL-CIO.org, of course, the website for the AFL-CIO. You're doing great work, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all your support and for having me, Thom.
You're welcome. Thanks for standing up for all of us.